Dạ con tưởng là đâu có người nào nha. Cái này là
And we are going to continue to empower our community policing in places like San Jose, right here, and throughout the state of California, to intervene and to make sure that our API community is safe, not only here in Santa Clara County, but in all 58 counties in the state of California. Are you with me on that? So we're going to stand together. I'm here to stand with you today, obviously. I'm here to stand with our Vietnamese American community, without which I would not be here today, who have stood and reminded us time and time again of the requirement of all of us to stand for human rights and democracy, but also freedom. Freedom from hate crimes, freedom from attacks. Assemblymember Lowe, Councilmember Campbell, and thank you so much for inviting me today. Again, let's get this done.
Good morning. My name is Arnold Lee. I'm honored to be serving as your county supervisor in District 3 of Santa Clara County. First of all, I want to thank my fellow supervisors, Susan Ellenberg, and also Supervisor Joseph Millian, who is here with me today. And I'm honored to say that I'm following the footsteps of the very first Asian American serving on the county supervisor. Is right here, Mike Honda. And I'm also proud to say that I'm here, but I'm not proud to say that I'm here again, because 2.5 years ago, I was right here, standing next to Susan Ellenberg for a different hate crime. This is a hate crime that happened in Pittsburgh, across from where she lived when she grew up. When the hate crime of somebody showing up with a gun into a synagogue and getting down 10 people and injuring many. This is serious. Hate crime is not a matter of freedom of speech. Spitting at people, calling names, coughing at people, just a slap on the face, or just a tug, these are hate crimes. And I want to first of all thank our police chiefs who are here today. I want to thank Jay Borowski representing our district attorney's office for all the good work they are doing, because they are taking this seriously. Asian Americans are supposed to be model minority, right? We are supposed to be quiet and silent and study well in school, right? Wrong. We will never, ever tolerate, allow, or ever be silenced. And remember, crime against Asian Americans is not just against Asians. Crimes against Asian Americans is against the Latinx Americans, the Black Americans, against the Jewish Americans, the Muslim Americans, against all of us. Because hate against one is hate against all. And I'm very, very proud that all my brothers and sisters from the Black community, the Latinx community, the Jewish community, the Muslim community, and all of you being here today, standing together to get the message very clear. Hate and violence is not tolerated in Santa Clara County, not in California, not in America, and not ever. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah. I know all too well what it feels like to be targeted with hate, with violence, with discrimination. Every person is created in God's image, and that we are all responsible for one another. As Supervisor Lee mentioned, I stood here on this plaza 2.5 years ago in tears, reflecting on the shooting at Tree Synagogue that killed 10 Jews celebrating the Sabbath, as they did every week. This happened literally across the street from my childhood home. When I stood here 2.5 years ago, many of the same people that are here today stood with me, and that made all the difference. I commit to standing always with anyone who is discriminated against based on their religion, their race, their ethnicity, their skin color, their gender identity, their sexuality, because if we don't stand for each other, who will stand for us?
Why are you here this morning? I'd ask because you could be at home. You could be sleeping in, having another cup of coffee, lounging around the house, spending time with family. But you chose to be here. Which raises the question, why are we here? We're here because of the surge in violence, true enough. We're here because it's not just a recent surge in violence, it's a legacy of American history. But we're here today because I hope each and every one of us is going to use this occasion to confront the challenge of the moment and make a decision that is determined and absolute about what we will do to put this behind us. What we will do to move past the hate in the hearts of some. What we will do to replace that hate with hope and understanding. I'm going to begin by asking my new friend from a little bit to the north, Ashton, to come on up with her sign. Ashton, raise it high so everybody can see. Ashlyn knows, and I think we all know, that the work is daunting, seemingly immense, and perhaps beyond our individual ability to make a difference. But Ashlyn also knows, because she showed up, that we can do our part, and that only if each one of us commits this day to ask ourselves, what can we do in our homes, our neighborhoods, our communities, our workplaces, our halls of government, what can we do to put the hate behind us, to fill those hearts with hope rather than hate? If each of us will make that commitment, go forth and do the hard work, and do it undaunted by the seeming immensity of the challenge, we will not have to be back in this plaza for this reason ever again. Thank you so much for being here. Let's all go home and do the work.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am really excited to be here today, and let me tell you why. Don't you love this community? Yeah. And the reason we love this community is because when one of us is injured, we recognize that that is an injury to all. That's actually a core tenet, really, of so much of our movement, whether it's the labor movement, the women's movement, the movement for equity. It means that we recognize that we are one family. And I want to just say something about the point that Otto raised. Otto, that was fiery. Thank you. And to be here with so many of my colleagues, just to make this very single point, that one of the things that I've seen as I've lived in Santa Clara County is the number of times that when one member of a community is taken on, that others stand up.
calling out these actions and showing up here today. Violence is never acceptable, and it's especially abhorrent when it's racially motivated. The Sharks organization deeply believes in the pursuit of social justice, increasing diversity and inclusion in our own organization, in our sport, in society at large. We are passionate about that belief, and we're dedicated to obviously still a lot of work left to do. In conjunction with today's event, and through our nonprofit foundation, today we are donating $10,000 to the Stop AAPI page. An organization that is dedicated to reporting and responding to these incidents of hatred and harassment that are unduly necessary, they're ridiculous, that are fostered against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. All of us are the same. We deserve to be treated equally. It shouldn't matter who our background is. It shouldn't matter who we are. We literally are in this together. That's the spirit we try to do. We call that being teal together. And we call on everyone to join us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Adam Juratovac, President of the San Francisco 49ers. I'd like to thank Assemblymember Lowe, Councilmember Foley, and all of our leadership for being here today. And in true Bay Area Unite fashion, and my brethren, Jonathan, we are also going to donate $10,000 to the cause. I stand here professionally wearing this badge, the 49ers, the football team. I also stand here personally as a son to a mother-in-law, a wife, and daughters. Fearful to go out in the community. Since this pandemic started, there's been over 3,000 reported hate crimes against AAPI. Folks, this must stop. This must stop for everyone here. This must stop for my mother, my wife, and my daughters. Thank you all so very much for having me.
Good morning. I'm Sunnyvale Mayor Larry Klein, and I just want to first thank Assemblymember Lowe and Councilmember Foley for bringing this together today. It's really great. You know, I, like so many of you, were horrified by all the events that have happened in the last few months against our Asian Pacific Islander community. And in Sunnyvale, 2 years ago this month, we had a hate crime. And we are still recovering from that. It caused fear. We met, much like we are here today, to talk about ways of moving forward. I've met with parents, I've met with kids, I've met with many of our residents who were directly affected and felt fear of being out in their community. And that's what we're seeing today. And ultimately, what we really learned is that hate, extremism, and violence have no place in our community today. We in Santa Clara County, California, we are better than that. We know that wherever you come from, whatever your beliefs, no matter how old or young you are, no matter who you love, you are welcome in our community. And that is what Santa Clara County is. It is critical that we spread peace and love throughout our community. And ultimately, I call on all of you, please, whatever you can do. Spread kindness to everyone that you meet. Please, whatever you can do, stand up whenever you see any injustice in our community. Please, whatever you can do, just spread love and joy throughout our community. Our world can be a better world, and it's up to all of us to take part, to be an ally to our Asian Pacific Islander community, but everyone in our community, no matter who they are or where they come from. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Yan Zhao, Mayor of the City of Saratoga. We are gathered here today not only to fight for Asian Americans' rights, but also for human rights. No one should have to fear for their life walking down the streets because of their race or ethnicity. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here to support this movement, Stop AAPI Hate. It is of utmost importance that we are in this together. It is our duty to make this country a great place that we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ellen Kamei. I currently serve as the mayor for the city of Mountain View. I just wanted to take a moment to share a little bit of a personal story, which is it's been a really emotional week. As the Assembly member mentioned, we recently had a hate crime in our community.
Plaza. Thank you for being here, and as I look around the beautiful and diverse faces of our community, I am heartened to know that this is still a wonderful community that embraces love over hate, and that recognizes that it's not enough simply to decry hate. We know, and we know too well over the last year, that disease looks for the vulnerabilities in our body. And it is too easy for us simply to point the finger at those who commit these horrible acts of hate. That each of us, whether we're the subject of that hate or we are allies to other members of our community, have to do more to make our entire body healthy. I really want to thank the leadership of Assemblymember Evan Lowe, Councilmember Pam Crowley for bringing us together. Thank you. And Evan, you said your mom was here. I want to thank Evan Lowe's mom. You raised him right, but you got to watch his mouth out. We are an incredible community, and Assemblymember Lowe put it well. Just 2 blocks from here, a century and a half ago, we had 2 Chinatowns burned down by xenophobic neighbors. Just a few blocks away, of course, in the heart of Japantown, my father saw friends of his who he played baseball with shuttled off to buses with their families under an edict from the President of the United States to go to internment camps. But this is much more as a community. This is a community where one of those individuals who subjected to the great indignity of internment became the mayor of the first Asian American mayor of a major city in the United States, right here, San Jose, North Manhattan. And has produced incredible other leaders, as you have already heard, and of course, as you see, Congressman Mike Honda. Thank you again, Mike, for being here. And 2 blocks away, a store kept by a first-generation family is located, and the son of that family would be Viet Nguyen, who would go on to win a Pulitzer Prize just last year for literature. That is what our community is about. And it is about building strength in our community. is far beyond simply the crying. It is about how we can build the relationships, how we can hold up the role models in our community who are, of course, diverse because that is who we are, and how we can be of support and of love to one another. I encourage each of you to think. I think Supervisor Smitty said so well. Each of us have a role to play here. Each of us can do something. Let's do something, whatever that is. Let's make this community just a little stronger together. Thank you all for being here. Great champions, Vice Mayor Tappy Jones.
When I look at the Black Lives Matter banner, it reminds me that the AAPI community is loud and clear in stating that Black Lives Matter. So I want to be very loud and clear to state that violence against the AAPI community will not be tolerated. Harassment of the AAPI community will not be normalized. Disrespect towards the API community will not be normalized. Sometimes we feel this struggle, we feel alone, we feel like we don't have allies. But I can tell you today, the API community has allies. We are going to stop the hate, and we're going to bring them up. Thank you.
Shabby must have known what I was going to say, because I'm going to bring the love. My name is Ralph Krause. I'm the council representative for District 3, which is right here where we're at, beautiful downtown San Jose, which includes one of the 3 remaining Japan towns in our entire country, which would have had Chinatown, as our mayor just said right here, but unfortunately we have our own negative history right here in the city of San Jose. And when you have so many great speakers and messages before you, you want to be able to bring something to this. So for me, first off, I apologize for my team for going off script, but I want to be able to focus on a message actually that was at the end of Assemblymember Lowe's, our Vice Mayor just said, and that is love. Will you love us, is what you asked. When I see you, Evan, I see San Jose. I grew up here as well. My best friends were Japanese, Vietnamese, Black, Iranian, Hawaiian. I was the Mexican guy of the bunch. That was San Jose for me. But just 2 generations before, my grandfather grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. Racist. When my mother brought my father home, he was saying all kinds of racial slurs. He didn't want anything to do with him. Growing up, he didn't want my mother to have anything to do with anybody else besides white people. My mother changed that for me. By loving my father, by loving others. It wasn't easy, but it can happen. And that's that message that our mayor just said, what we've heard here today, but we can all go back and do something in our own homes. Because we know that xenophobia, racism, hate, it exists amongst all of us, all of our families. But we can go back to our own homes and change that narrative, just like my mother changed it for me. We can change it for our children, we can change it for our elders. I tell you today, I visit my grandfather still. He now loves me. He loves the Mexican.
Racism. We need to do everything we can. It does not end today. It's for co-sponsoring this event with me.